Hi, I'm Mallory.
And I'm Laura, and we are joining you again here from the campus of Meridian to kind of check in this week and see how everybody's doing. So this is kind of an exciting week, right? So we are in phase 1 of reopening our community this week. So I think that's been kind of exciting. Mallory, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's definitely exciting. We're finally going a little bit more toward our normal lives, but it looks a little bit different than I thought it would at this point, to be honest.
Okay, well, how so?
So, I've been keeping up with the guidelines and policy changes and updates and things like that. And the other day, I think it was yesterday, I drove past a really popular restaurant here, and it was like packed with people. And it just kind of made me feel a sort of way. It was a lot to take in at once.
Well, how did you feel when you saw that?
I kind of felt angry and confused. I think just mostly just like, wait, this is a lot. It was overwhelming.
Okay,
too.
yeah, no, I think that's valid. So let me ask you another question, like not how you felt, but when you first saw that, what did you think? Like, what was the thought that popped into your head?
My first thought was, man, that doesn't really look like social distancing. I thought, is this restaurant like abiding by the policies that are in place right now? And how are they doing this? How are there this many people there?
Sure.
And
probably like, is it safe? Right?
Is it safe? That was like the main thing that I was thinking.
Sure. Well, the reason that I asked you about your thought, after you told me how you felt, I asked you how you thought because, as you know, the thoughts that we have are what drive our emotions, right? So it's so easy, and we all do it, right, to say that, I saw this and it made me angry,
Yeah.
right? Or I saw this and it made me scared. But in actuality, it was what you thought about what you saw that made you feel scared and angry in that moment.
Yeah.
And I think that can help us. And we've heard that before. We've heard that so many different ways, right? But I think I've always liked, for those of you that may be familiar with the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So I think Stephen Covey said it best in his first chapter, the proactive chapter. He said, between what happens to us and what we do, there's a space, right? But gosh, the space is so quick, right? So we don't always you probably still had that restaurant in your rearview mirror as you were feeling your emotions, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So the thought happens and then the emotions come, and we don't always realize that there's a thought. So I think it can really benefit us, particularly in a time like now where, my gosh, we've just gone through so much change and now more change, and there's a little bit of a pressure to sort of feel like this is positive, happy change, because we're smart enough to know that it is, but that doesn't always match how we feel, right?
Yeah.
So if we can have an awareness of that, of what our thoughts are, how we're perceiving a situation, and maybe introduce different ways to think about it. Maybe we revisit that in our mind and we say, I drove past that restaurant and I thought that it didn't look safe, and so I was angry. Maybe we say, well, I drove past that restaurant and I wondered if it was safe, and I hope that it was, and it made me feel a little uneasy.
Right.
It still didn't make you happy, right?
But I might have had a different experience with my emotions.
Right. Uneasy is better than angry.
Yeah.
Right? So, and it's a selfish thing. It's not necessarily about seeing things in the positive light all the time or finding silver linings. It's really just about you being better. I don't want you to go through your day being angry or scared. I think that even just being aware that there's a thought and introducing some different thoughts we might have about a situation can help us at least explore our emotions a little bit better.
Yeah, I think that's so important. Kind of just recognizing that we're having those thoughts and, intentionally trying to come up with some other thoughts to replace that. It's all connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the missing piece for me sometimes with that stuff, and you're really good at this side, so I'm sort of gonna volley this one back to you. So once we've identified, those thoughts and those emotions, and we're like, okay, this is how I'm feeling and this is why, and so we're calmer, I guess, because we have an understanding. Well, then what do we do with it? Like, I'm still uneasy.
I think we need to just keep focusing on self-care. So there's things that we've talked about before, right? Giving ourselves some breaks, giving ourselves some slack with things, knowing what we can control, what we can't control, all of those things. You know, if things are overwhelming and you're feeling uneasy and all those emotions, there are things we can do, like we've talked about before. There's deep breathing exercises, there's meditation exercises you can look up on YouTube or online, practicing those self-care techniques, going on a walk, things like that, and knowing that when some of those things become too much, when it becomes overwhelming and really difficult to handle, knowing that Meridian is by your side and that we are still open, we're open for services, and that you could always give us a call and you know, talk to a counselor about those things. And our number, just like we always do mention, is 352-374-5600. So please give us a call, practice self-care, take care of yourselves, and, you know, reflect on what you're feeling and what your thoughts are in this time of change.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. You're not alone. Meridian's by your side. We're feeling the same kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
hang in there, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Bye.